I'm Aunt Pruitt, and I have some things I'd like to say. I'll try my best to be brief, and I won't promise being brief, but I'll try. I'm Aunt Pruitt. I'm a photographer. I'm a podcast host at Twit TV. I'm in my 40s. I'm black. But wait, it gets better. Not only am I black, I'm bald. I'm 6'2" tall and 235 pounds. Some would even say I'm a monster. Those that have told me that to my face have meant it as a joking compliment. But I assure you there are many people that have called me a monster behind my back. And I also assure that they did not mean this as a joking compliment. I was born and reared in the South here in the U.S. I have only recently relocated to Northern California. At the time of recording this, it's been about 9 months since I've relocated. I've wanted to move out of the South for many years, at least a decade. Why? Because I was tired of the ignorance and the flat out rude people in the area. I was tired of hearing and seeing people that looked like me get treated poorly. I was concerned that my partner and my children would get this same treatment. I wanted more, and I wanted better for them. My heart said that the South wasn't the place for me and my family to be anymore. It just wasn't. Boy, was I wrong. Come to find out, it seems like nowhere is the place for people that look like me or my family. Nowhere. But all right, let me clear some things up though. Yes, I'm a Southerner. I love Southern fried foods. I love Southern rituals of saying hello to complete strangers while you're passing by. I love Clemson football. But I don't love the racial divide that's been there in the South since the beginning of this country's formation. Where I'm from, I experienced and witnessed racism as if it were as normal as the sun rising and setting. Real talk. It absolutely sucked. My mother and my father raised me to be strong, smart, and loving to everyone. They were devout Christians and truly walked the walk of Christianity as they loved everyone. Really, they loved everyone. But with that said, they also warned me of potential attacks. Specifically, they told me, Aunt, well, they didn't call me Aunt. They called me by my name, Anthony. Anthony, keep an eye on some of them white folks out there. Even though my parents and I, we got along with pretty much anyone, we could still be targeted with hate. And we were. This intrigued me, and it also angered me at times. At one time in my life, I thought my elders and my grandparents used to be afraid of white people. I thought this was because of how they would act around the white people whenever we saw them, if it was just somewhere out in public or what have you. It was almost like they were inferior to these white people in public or on their job. I never understood that, but as I got older, I assumed it was just conditioning from when they grew up in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. One of the saddest and most bizarre stories that was ever told to me, my grandfather told me about Dr. Martin Luther King being assassinated. Now, of course, this was pre-Twitter and pre-internet days. So my grandfather heard about it on the radio while he was at work. He got home from work and greeted my grandmother like he normally would. And then he said to her, in quotes, "They finally got him." He didn't say anything along the lines of, "Oh God, Dr. King has been killed," or anything hysterical like that. He flat out, in just a general conversation tone, said, They finally got him. Sorry. Just think about that, y'all. Think about it. Why? Why would he have to say it that way? Did he see this assassination coming? When that story was told to me, I was fairly young. The gravity of his remark didn't really hit me until I got into high school. And I didn't bring it up to my grandfather again because it just truly hurt my heart to even think about the conditions he and my grandmother lived through. Better yet, even my parents, because they grew up in the 60s and the 70s. Fast forward to the more recent years, specifically 2015. A video was published and my then 12 and 10-year-old boys saw said video. It was of Walter Scott being shot in South Carolina, just hours away from where we lived. When my 12-year-old saw it, it shook him. Literally, it shook him. The gun went pow and he jumped. He looked at me and he asked, why did they shoot him? Me having to explain that situation and what we as in black men, black people, deal with as far as racism and police brutality was by far the hardest thing that I ever had to do in my life. He was 12 and his brother was 10. And I'm explaining racism and police brutality to them. What sucks is just a few days prior to that shooting and prior to me explaining that scenario, I was at home taking just a lunchtime walk around my apartment complex for some exercise, good old cardio. While I was walking, a police officer drives through the parking area and stopped me and asked what I was doing there. And I just looked at him and I said, I'm walking. And I proceeded to walk some more. He drove up and he stopped me again. And he asked, okay, so where are you going? What are you doing here? And I looked at him and I lost my temper a little bit. And I said, dude, I'm walking and I live here. I freaking live here. He eventually just drove off. I guess he didn't expect some black dude to be walking around an empty parking lot, at lunchtime. Never mind the fact that said black dude works from home in the IT department for a big enterprise company. Unbelievable. But folks, my life and my stories, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm still here to tell about them. So many others are not, due to wrongfully being killed. You don't see me online on a soapbox ranting and raving about any of this stuff. At one time I wanted to do that, but I quickly came to the conclusion that my voice just doesn't matter. It doesn't. This shit has been happening for hundreds of years. And quite honestly, I have no optimism about it. None. I need a reason to believe there will be a change. But right now, I have no reason to believe that there will. You white people out here that care about me and or people like me, I believe you have more power than any of us people of color regarding this. I've received so many different text messages and private messages from white people over the last week. Mostly from my dear friends. God, I love them. And some from fans and followers. And it has meant a lot. I mean, it really does mean a lot. But I ask that all of you continue to show that love, not only to me, but to others. And I ask that you take that passion to the leadership of our local authorities and our nation. A change has to be made. Senseless killing of innocent people is sickening. What's even more sickening is the individuals involved or committing the crimes, they're not even being punished more than anyone with a couple freaking parking tickets. I mean, Michael Vick was vilified and served his time for his absolutely heinous acts against dogs. I mean, I heard so much and I read so much and I saw so much, just people throwing mud at Michael Vick. Oh, served his time and is still throwing mud at him. Yet, the killers of unarmed people, black people, are acquitted, or better yet, they're even suing the families of the people that they killed for $100 million. Who's next? Is it your friend, your mother, your father, me? Who's next? I previously mentioned that I'm a photographer. This means I walk around with a camera in my hand pretty regularly. I'm already considered creepy just for that, right? You see someone with the camera, you probably try to hide yourself or you prejudge them as a creepy person, right? That's what social media has done. You see someone with a camera, oh my gosh, watch out. They got a camera, move. What is that creep doing? That's the day that we live in now, right? So now I'm going to ask you, put my shoes on just for 1 minute. I'm a photographer. You put my shoes on. Now, I've been on record and I said I live in a, quote, nice neighborhood, if you will. Okay. But I like to get up in the mornings and take a walk, like at 6 a.m. And most of the time I take my camera with me because that's what photographers do. But what happens when someone wakes up and sees me walking the streets with the camera in my hand? I know what could happen, so I act accordingly. I never go on a photo walk without wearing bright colors. People that follow me online and so forth, when they see me, they usually remark on the fact that I'm wearing a Clemson orange shirt because they know how much I love Clemson. And yeah, there's truth in that. But what most don't realize, most of the time I'm wearing that for my own freaking protection. I want to make sure I'm clearly visible when I'm out. I want to make sure that if I'm walking the neighborhood early in the morning with my camera or out on the trail that early in the morning, I want to make sure I'm clearly visible. It's so easy for some white female to be out jogging and consider me a threat because I'm out on the trail early in the morning. Better yet, I'm out on the trail early in the morning and got a camera. But if she sees me off in the distance, my only hope is my orange attire will diffuse that bit of anxiety just enough for her to say, okay, he's not trying to hide from me. He's not trying to get me. He's in plain sight, or he's just taking photos, Granted, that's a crapshoot for me. It could go either way, but it's the best option I have right now. Either that or not take a walk in my own freaking neighborhood. Me nor anyone of color should feel like we can't go on a walk or jog in public without being harmed or killed. But that's where we are today. I'm not going to take up more of your time. Thank you. I hope today's show will not only raise awareness for all of this crap that we're dealing with in our society, but also push more to demand civil change and justice. This stuff has got to stop. It has to stop. I'm tired of the tears that I have in my eyes. I'm tired of every time my boys want to just run over to the local Walmart to get themselves a bag of chips, being concerned that I don't know if they'll make it back or not. I'm tired that when I go out, my partner is concerned that I'm going to be safe. Thank you again. Peace. Peace.